Hello everyone and welcome to Healthy Headspace, and today we've got another clip for you, and this clip, it's a big one, if I'm honest. I wasn't originally going to do this so early. The reason why I'm doing it so early is because, as I said, it's a big one. It's a big part of mental health and how to change it, for the better, of course. So I thought if I release it earlier, you can incorporate this with the other clips and the other ideas that come in the other videos, clips, whatever. You can incorporate all this together. But this is the fundamental one, I think. If you don't do this one, it's going to be very difficult for you to overcome mental health. Now, I'll tell you what it's about first of all. So it's basically changing your negative thought patterns. Sounds simple, but it's not. If you're going through mental health, depression, anxiety, all the rest of it, you know for a fact you don't want to be thinking the way that you are and seeing the visions that you see in your head, depending on what they are. So it's not simple. It sounds simple, but it's not. It's kind of like if you've done a job all your life, but then something changes and you have to learn a whole new way of doing that job, but your brain's been taught to do that job for 5 years and now you've got to change it completely. It's difficult. It's like, say if you worked in the 1970s and then you're working in the 2000s, and you're getting on a bit as well, and you've got to go from pen, paper and hand to technology. It's not easy. Kind of works the same way. You are taught to think a certain way or believe certain things and live a certain way, and once you do that, if you wanted to change it, if you believe in some kind of belief system, some kind of religion, but then you start having your own mind and start tackling it, it's very hard for you to get out of those habits that you're doing and changing it yourself. It's kind of like you can apply it to anything really. So, but I want to sort of get stuck into it because I feel like it is a big one. So if you do sort of relate to this and understand what I'm trying to say and think it's a good idea, then please give it a go and share it around if you can, because I think it is fundamentally what will get you on the right path. This is like the core, I guess, of changing mental health. So with negative thought patterns, as I said, it's not always, you think just stupid things in your head. Sometimes you think things that happened 15 years ago, something when you were a kid, that doesn't actually matter anymore, like some kid that were bullying you and you wish you could go back and smack him straight in chops. Do you know what I mean? It could be just something stupid like that. It could be, I'll give you an example. One of the things I used to get when I was suffering with mental health was, for some reason I used to think things about my kids all the time, like something bad happening. Like I remember particularly one day I was walking down the street with them, obviously holding their hands, and a car mounted the pavement and ran us all over. Why does my brain do that? It's never happened. I've never seen it happen to anyone else. People probably say you don't watch too many TV shows, too much movies or something like that. It's like, well, maybe that is a part of it, but you can't help what you see, and you can't help what your brain does to you. Because that's what it does to you. So it's odd, but if we can change it, because you can. People say you can't change it. Yes, you can. The sheer fact that you're saying can't, won't, I'll never, things like that, they're all negative words, negative sayings that you're using, and you keep using them, you'll keep being the same way. So, if you say, I'll never get that job, then you're never going to get that job, because your motivation isn't in there to go for it, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. Like I said, you can relate it to anything, but yeah. So what you need to be doing is, we've got to catch ourselves when we're doing it first and foremost. So if you're sat there and you're thinking, I'll never get over my mental health, I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life, you need to catch yourself when you're doing that. Like, hang on, no, shut up, Jamie, why are you thinking like that? Because this is what I used to do. I used to talk to myself. I still do, but I used to talk to myself, stop it. I'd literally sit there. Sometimes I'd say it in my mind, sometimes I'd say it out loud. I'd be sat there thinking something really horrible or horrific, and I'd be like, no, something like that. I would just be arguing with myself, saying, why are you doing that to yourself? What are you doing? Bam, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Kind of like that. So that's what you've got to catch yourself doing. No matter what the thought is, you've got to catch yourself doing it. And the moment you catch yourself doing it, you've got to then twist it round. Think something positive. So, if you're thinking, I'll never get over mental health, and then you catch yourself, you're like, no, I am going to get over this. I will get over this. It will take time, but I'm going to beat this. Eventually, when you keep doing it over and over and over again, it gets quite frustrating because it's not happening for you in a week. It's going to take a few months, most likely. But again, with the other bits that I'll be uploading in my clips, when you're incorporating and doing different exercises, it may happen very quickly for you, like it did for me. I just had a strange mix of everything, and some of it just clicked, and then boom, it worked. But that is something that I did actively. So look up online things like affirmations. Affirmations are another one. Again, it's something you feel stupid saying to yourself. It's kind of like when you go into a mirror, you know, and you say, I will get that job, I will do this, I will. That's what an affirmation kind of is. It's positive thinking, it's positive language, and when you're basically, and I touched upon this on one of my other videos, I think it was the last clip that I uploaded, is you're trying to believe your own bullshit. Because at the time that you start this, it is bullshit. You are bullshitting yourself into thinking that something will happen. But eventually, when you start to believe what you're saying, it comes naturally to you. It just happens, and eventually over time, the negative things start to sort of wean away, you know, they start to sort of dissipate a little bit, or their voice is less louder. But you've got to be actively catching yourself doing it. You know, again, it's the same at night. You know, if you have because night times is the worst for me. And I think it's the same for everybody, because you're left alone with your thoughts. Even if you've got your partner next to you, asleep to you, that don't mean shit. Your mind doesn't care where you are, what time of day it is. It's going to do it. But night time seems to be the worst for a lot of people. So I'd say, you know, even if you're at night and you catch yourself doing it, you know, don't have to say things out loud. If you prefer to say it out loud, do it out loud. But saying it in your mind will help, because you're catching it. Basically, it's like when your kids, if you've got kids, or you've got like a little brother or a little sister or someone that, you know, irritating you, they're going, yeah, they're crying, like, and you just have to shout over them. Just shout over them, make your voice loud. That's all you're doing. And you're shutting it out eventually, and it'll come back straight away. You'll probably do it, and then it'll come back straight away and start it again seconds after you've said something positive, and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. If you have to get out of bed, if you're in bed, and start walking around your property or whatever and start saying stuff, or just like, you know, just sometimes talking to yourself, as daft as it sounds, I do it all the time. I think a lot of people do it. I think it's more common than I like to think, because I feel like I might be just mental, and I am. But talking to yourself helps. Arguing with yourself helps. You know, if you're telling yourself that you're an idiot, and you're doing this and this and this, and it's not helping, you're sort of, because we hate ourselves as well when we're in mental health. It's kind of the same thing. So arguing with yourself, but thinking about positive things while you're doing it is something that I used to do. You know, like, shut up, Jamie, stop being an idiot, stop doing this, stop doing that. You know, I'd be getting angry with myself, and then I'd be like, right, and I'd take a deep breath. You know, breathing exercises do work. But I'd take a deep breath, and I'd just start again and be like, right, I'm thinking this, but I tell you what, that's not going to happen because of, and then say something positive, you know, whatever it might be. But affirmations is one of them to look up, you know, positive affirmations. Again, like I said, you feel stupid doing them. Sometimes writing them down as well, you know, writing them down, get a little notepad if you just want to write them down, and either read them back to yourself or just write them down. And maybe, and again, I feel my mum, if you ever see this, she knows exactly what I'm talking about, because she used to say I'm going crazy. I used to write little notes down about positivity or positive things that I want, and this is a big part of something else that I'll be releasing in another video. I'm not going to touch on this. I'm going to touch this in another one, because it's another longer clip most likely. But you know, writing it down in a booklet or whatever, a notepad, whatever, and ripping that piece of paper out and pinning it up on a pin board, or pinning it on the back of your door, somewhere where you're going to see it every day, and you look at it, even if you look at it and glancing at it for 30 seconds, I mean, after you've read it for a few times, or you've looked at it a few times, you know exactly what it says, but just the fact that you're looking at it, it's in your mind. You've already imprinted that vision in your mind. So that's what a lot of it is. It's exercising the brain, where you've got to train your brain to get out of the negative cycles and start thinking positively. But this one, again, is going to take time. You are going to have to convince yourself, and you're probably, again, sitting there at the screen now saying, I'm not doing that. Fine, don't do it. Stay where you are. I don't care. It's not. I'm not walking your journey. I say I don't care. I do care. That's why I'm doing it. But it's your journey to walk. I can't make you do this. And if it doesn't relate to you now, or you're unwilling to do it now, come back in a couple of months, come back in a couple of weeks. My point to you is, you've tried everything else, or you're currently seeing doctors, psychiatrists, you're taking medication, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing and nothing's worked or working, you don't feel any better, some of you might even feel worse, what have you got to lose then? Why is my advice bullshit? Why is my advice no good to you? Because my advice and what I'm telling you to do is free. So do it. Give it a go. But don't just give it one go and go, oh, that's fucking stupid that. It's going to take a few attempts. It's going to take several attempts. And it's going to, you know, it's just like training yourself for a new job. Eventually, it's like throwing, what's that saying, you know, throwing shit in it sticks or whatever. I don't know if you've ever heard that, you know, seeing how much shit you can throw until some of it sticks. It's kind of like that. Just keep throwing your shit at it. Eventually some of it will stick. And then the more of it that sticks, the better it'll be. Kind of a weird way of putting it, but yeah, like I said, that's this is a big one. It's a bit longer than the other clips that are going to be because it's a big one. So please do give it a go, and again, comment in there if you want any advice, or comment in there of how it's going for you, or even if you've already tried this and it's either worked for you or not worked for you, whatever. Just feel free to comment. And yeah, like I said, we'll see you on the next one, and hopefully we can get you back on track sooner rather than later.